In 2014, a helicopter was passing over Siberia, when the pilot's attention was drawn to a strange thing on the ground. A very large sinkhole, which was as wide as 80 feet and as deep as a 15-story building. The pilot took a few laps around the sinkhole, captured a few photos and then left. But when these photos were posted on the internet, this news spread all over the world like fire. Many scientists, geologists and Arctic researchers had never seen such a large sinkhole before, and that too, which was formed overnight. Its volume is so large that even 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools of water can be easily filled in it. But how did it suddenly form? It was not in anyone's control to explain this. At least, not after seeing these photos. Welcome again to Mr.Dar videos. Located in the north of Russia, this part of Siberia is called the Yamal Peninsula. Due to extreme conditions, there is almost no population here. Only a few thousand nomads live in the entire Yamal Peninsula, and in their language, Yamal means the last part of the earth. After learning about this sinkhole, Arctic geologists started exploring it. By the way, many sinkholes have been formed in the world before, and many have also appeared in the middle of cities. Sometimes cars went inside, and sometimes entire houses. These sinkholes are mostly formed due to the flow of water, because water weakens the ground below. But geologists say that this Yamal sinkhole does not look normal in any way. Because the border of normal sinkholes is flat, rather than bulging. And just like when normal sinkhole sucks in the part of the ground, nothing comes out of it. But when Yamal's sinkhole was observed, its edges were also bulging, and its crater was spread far and wide. Pieces of stones were found to have spread from 200 to 900 meters in radius. This type of crater is found only where an asteroid has fallen. But researchers did not find any evidence of any asteroid colliding inside the sinkhole. Scientists believe that this can only happen in one condition: a very big natural explosion. Normally, a volcano that boils in the ground can cause such explosions. But if this is true, then the volcano coming out of the sinkhole or volcanic rock can be seen somewhere. There are stones around this sinkhole, but they have no relation to volcanoes. Then how did this sinkhole form? To find out, some samples of air, water and soil were collected inside it. And this time the scientists found an interesting clue. When all these samples were tested, one thing was found in a very large quantity: methane gas. Methane, which is used for cooking and heating, is a natural gas that is made by mixing carbon and hydrogen. If it is in large quantities, then when it meets air, it immediately ignites. Now there were quite a few chances that this sinkhole was formed due to methane gas coming out of the ground. This mystery was now over for the scientists. And they had no interest in going deep into this matter. But before they knew where so much methane gas came from, 8 more sinkholes were found on the Yamal Peninsula. All these sinkholes were made in the same way as if there had been an explosion here. When the satellite images were seen, it was found that after 2014, one after another sinkholes were being formed here. What were the rapidly forming sinkholes pointing to? The scientists began to worry about this. But what was more worrisome was that all these sinkholes had a very big connection with climate change. The first sinkhole was formed here in 2014. And the next year, a record high temperature was noticed in Siberia. And all the other sinkholes were also formed during this high temperature. From the beginning of the 19th century to date, the average temperature of the world has increased to 1 degree Celsius. But in the Arctic Circle, the rate of temperature increase is double. So now the scientists were forced to think about the connection of these sinkholes with climate change. And what would be the future of the Earth if they kept increasing one by one? On one hand, deep research was being done on the Yamal sinkholes, and on the other hand, far away from Yamal, in the Arctic Circle, the scientists' other team found something strange. Which was probably the most important clue to solve the puzzle of the Yamal sinkhole. Near the northwest coast of Alaska, there is an easy lake which has been behaving very oddly, according to the locals, for the past few months. Bubbles are coming out of the inside of the easy lake as if water is boiling. In search of this mystery, a team of scientists arrived here. When samples of these bubbles were taken, it was found that these are also methane gas bubbles. It is very common for light methane gas to leak in the Arctic region. But the surprising thing in this case was that 10 tons of methane was coming out of the easy lake every day. This was the first time in the entire Arctic region that so much methane gas came out of somewhere. The research team went into the water in the easy lake and decided to write the source of methane gas. Although the easy lake is 3 feet deep, the place where the bubbles were coming out was too deep for divers to go. Therefore, with the help of sonar scanning, a 3D model of the Earth was made below the easy lake. It was found that the lake is 50 feet deep. On one hand, the reason for the sinkholes in the Yamal was also methane gas. On the other hand, methane gas was leaking in large quantities below the easy lake. These two locations come in the Arctic Circle. And there is one more thing common between the two. That is, these two locations are present on such a type of land which is called permafrost. Permafrost is a type of land that is completely frozen from the inside. This is a very large area of land which includes a large part of Russia, Canada, and Alaska. Recent research has shown that due to the increase in temperature in the Arctic Circle, permafrost has now begun to melt. That is, the land on which lakes, mountains, rivers and forests along with the human-made structures are standing, if it melts from the inside, then as a result, it is quite difficult to imagine what will happen. The proof of the melting of permafrost is 600 kilometers away from the Easy Lake in Alaska, near Foxtown, hidden in the jungles. This jungle is also present above the permafrost, where locals have noticed that the trees of the jungle have suddenly bent to one side. It seems as if the roots of these trees have weakened. In addition, when we went deep into the jungle, we found that the ground here is also muddy and a strange hole has formed in the ground. The sound of water falling in this hole is heard continuously, while there is no spring of water or lake nearby. This is not such a big change for many centuries, but it started only after 2018. But the question is, what is the connection between the melting of permafrost, methane gas and the sinkhole of Yamal? To understand this, a tunnel has been dug inside the permafrost in Fairbank, Alaska. What is seen inside this tunnel is that along with the frozen ground, the remains of ancient animals have also been collected, in which mammoth, steppe bison and thousands of years old grass have also been preserved. This shows that there is a lot of organic matter in permafrost. You all know that all organic matter has carbon in it. As the plants grow, they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and when they die, during decomposition, some of the carbon is released back into the atmosphere. But due to the freezing temperature in the Arctic Circle, the decomposition process is very slow. That's why for thousands of years, a lot of organic matter has been preserved inside the permafrost. That is, their bodies have not yet decomposed and there is still carbon in them. Experts believe that the amount of carbon in Arctic permafrost may not be in the atmosphere of the entire Earth. Therefore, due to the global temperature rise, as the permafrost melts, the organic matter in it, that is fossils, is also decomposing. Bacteria eat their carbon for their energy and then release methane gas in return. In addition, due to the melting of permafrost, the Earth is also becoming soft. And now the methane gas stuck underneath it does not have to face any obstacles in coming up. The gas easily makes its way through the soft soil and comes out of the weak points of the surface. These sinkholes are formed due to the release of this gas. This is why the number of sinkholes in the Arctic Circle is increasing day by day. According to experts, no solution to this problem has been found yet. No matter how much we control global warming, we cannot stop permafrost from melting. We hope you will like and share this video. See you in next great video.